Welcome to Patch Notice. I'm your host, Jacky, here on Dead Air, and I'm going to be taking you through the September 12th update for Deadlock. First and foremost then, let's have a look at the UI changes. This is the new minimap. Well, it was the new minimap on patch night. However, this is the new minimap after some hotfixes updated the way it looked due to complaints from the community. Following on from that, Valve also added minimap icons to the game, stylized more like the pixel artwork that you'll find in Dota 2's minimap. But again, people were relatively unhappy with a lot of these. Some of them have even been removed, whilst others have been updated, like Hayes and Abrams having changes made to the way that they look. The visual changes continue from there as well, with movement related changes coming in, this time purely cosmetic. Bounce pads that you might remember a little while ago popped up all over the cursed apple. However, this asset was simply being reused from the unreleased Hero Holidays kit. You may have even noticed Holiday had an icon in the minimap icons that were added in this patch. Interesting, isn't it? Maybe Valve are getting ready for a holiday next week. However, in the case of the bounce pads, they've been replaced with a more thematically appropriate style of launching device, a propulsion-based wind fan that has a rather nice callback to Deadlock, with it having the Deadlock insignia, the eye, in the center of the fan's guard. There has been way more map changes in tonight's update though, one of them meaning that we finally said goodbye to Orange Lane. Let's have a look at what's changed with the base first and foremost. Weirdly, some of the street names were updated in this patch. Park Avenue was changed, Boulevard was given a brighter blue, and Orchard was completely removed, with Greenwich, Green Lane, replacing it. Now, quite a few people in the community were speculating about this being a potential change for a while now. I even know from personal experience playing with many friends of mine, they struggled to differentiate the orange from a red or even yellow lane. People were suspecting it was only a matter of time before it would be replaced, with multiple heroes having calls to Greenwich Lane in the game files. Well, it seems like they were right. Shout out to Lamorite in the modding Discord on that one, as it's now official and Greenwich, Green Lane, has been added. The footage you're seeing on screen now shows off Green Lane in its entirety. All in all, it's a nice lick of paint, with the lane getting a little bit more personality actually. I did love orange, but I'll give it up for Greenwich, as it does look pretty cool and the green's kind of fun. Now, I don't know if this is supposed to be here, but they accidentally left one orange sign as well with the new Greenwich name. Although Valve have made many more changes to the map than just your colours and naming, because they've really overhauled the inner lane shop setups. On both of the inner lanes, the two big buildings, the department store where Orchard used to be, and then of course the New York Oracle building over on Boulevard, well, they've been given a new passageway, a connection straight through in a straight line from where the shop would be, introducing a new room with 2 more box spawns and a new veil to play around. Pretty cool actually. On the Broadway changes, this is what I was talking about. It's been given a bit of a lick of paint. It feels like it's more vibrant in terms of the blue that's being used all throughout Boulevard, and you can see that across the board here with how it looks. Now, signs were also changed, as Valve mentioned in their patch note that the hotel, the air-conditioned hotel sign, was for some reason replacing a lot of the older signs. That's been fixed, so your classic signs are back. Flex slots, though, have been changed. And that's to do with walkers. Your flex slot that was originally gifted for taking down 1 walker will now be off the back of destruction of 2 walkers. So from 1 to 2. Soul Orbs also went through some pretty big changes in this update. Confirms and denies were overhauled, so the orbs would now favour the claimer rather than the denier when both of you impacted the orb within a very narrow window of each other. This should help alleviate some issues to do with ping and in general being outplayed and outdenied when trying to farm a lane. Bear in mind though, it's a minute instance in terms of the timing. If timing is on your mind, then you're in luck, as you can now check the time to kill it's taking you from the minute a soul orb spawns in until you click on it and confirm it, letting you train your aim in Sandbox and get some more information. Per hero keybinds has also been added as per popular demand from the community, as they've been asking for this one for a while. However, weirdly, you'll now have to manually enable the console through the options menu. This is commonplace in most other Valve games, and I suspect as we get closer towards launch, they wanted to unify that. Custom games, though, is a very cool one, as Valve have added custom game support. You can now officially play against entire bot teams inside of Deadlock, or draft your friends in, hell, even run tournaments through the built-in system on Valve's dedicated servers. Visual update. Let's have a look what's changed here then. Metal Skin has had some effect revisions. Always particularly liked the way Metal Skin looked, so it's cool to see it getting even further visual improvements. Static Charge as well had effect improvements, but this one was based on visibility, giving it a more clearly defined area for you and players affected by the static charge. Then they went on to change something simple to do with Refresher, making it no longer green in effect and rather purple now when being used. Looks a little bit more like Echo Shard, weirdly enough. Shoulder Charge was also given wall impacts. However, these won't play if you run into a wall by default. You have to impact with a player, which I suppose makes sense, then leaving the cracked effect on the wall. Now, the model rig for Abrams was also changed because his gun was blocking the crosshair when jumping, so that's been resolved. Shiv also had his reload animation while sprinting adjusted in this update, and Torment Pulse got some visual changes. You can see on screen here how it looks now. Valve state that this was done to reduce visual noise, and I assume make it a little bit more clear what the item is and when it's active. Have a listen to this though, as Toxic Bullets was given a new sound. Tesla Bullets was also given a new sound. As for Divine Barrier, the wings will no longer be fully opaque. Actually looks rather pretty now. And Echo Shard was given a new sound effect. Lady Geist has had a lot of her sounds overhauled. Have a listen.
There's no escape. You will know. Feel the agony.
And then the unreleased hero Mirage was given a whole load of weird changes in tonight's patch, seeming like he's getting ready to be added. His model is now the default source to error. He's been given a portrait and a whole load of voice lines. Check these out.
Tornado's almost ready. Scarab's almost ready. Tempest Ward is almost ready. Jin's chains are almost ready. Let's take out Atlas. There's the detective. Look out for Bebop. There's the professor. There's Lady Geist. Hayes is on the prowl. Oh, great, Lash. The upstart is here. Here's that pile of goo. You're under my protection now. My vows are not taken lightly. Building a nation never comes easy. I will play my part, and in doing so, build a home for the Jinn. I fight on behalf of the Jinn. New York seems like a lovely place. My actions carry the weight of the Jinn. I will die before I fail you. If my services are needed to complete the ritual, then so be it. We all have a destiny. The only question is, do you have the courage to face it? I can't. I'm supposed to take Nashala on a tour of New Jersey. Sorry, Nashala wants to do some sightseeing. Apologies, I'm spoken for today. Best of luck. I'm sure you will endure fine without me. Fate has other plans for me today. Today, I try a hot dog. Stay safe during the ritual. I must be by Nashala's side. Only a fool opposes the Jinn.
He's even got dialogue with Seven.
So you're Nashala's pawn.
I serve at her pleasure. Yes.
It's so nice to work with someone who understands their place. So, Wyoming.
I know.
Good luck with that. How do you like working for the gym?
Well enough. Sometimes it's frustrating when Nashala makes impulsive, short-sighted decisions.
Such as?
Asking me to trust you.
Oh, you're fun.
Following on from that then, there's one specific set of hero changes I would like to highlight, as Kelvin's been given what I would call a bit of a gameplay overhaul. Not really a nerf, not really a buff, just a complete change. Guardians and walkers, any objectives really, will now become frozen when they're inside of his frozen shelter, making them invulnerable to damage under this new frozen status effect. This will also affect mid-boss. As you can see, the Kelvin is shooting mid-boss, but he is not taking any damage at all. Weirdly enough, this also now interacts with Rejuvenator. It will be locked in place even whilst descending, and punching it will do absolutely nothing. Of course, it did feel like he was incredibly strong into last patch, so they've sliced down his fire rate slow by 40% and his movement slow by 10%, trying to make him a bit more balanced. Player behavior was a key point in this patch as well. With the servers now being 24/7, Valve realized they needed to crack down. So matchmaking, voice chat, text chat, pausing, and even reporting are now potentially going to be taken away from you if you have a negative behavior score. You could even be put into a low priority queue, and if you abuse the report feature, you might lose the access to it. So try and keep your act clean when you're out on the streets of the cursed apple. If you'd like to know more about this patch and listen to our live special for hitting 10k, check out the Dead Air podcast. I've been your host Jacky, thanks so much for listening to Patch Notice, and I will see you next time, New York.